people can't make it tonight, we are going to send this out to those people that can't make it. So as I was saying, I want to thank you and honor you, and I am so grateful that you are here tonight. And I know as busy mums, that's not always easy. So, you know, well done on that for yourselves for getting here, because this is really important in that this information for you, you know, can be life-changing. So welcome. I'm glad you're all here. And for those of you that have just jumped on, what are we going to do is just start with some breath work. Okay, so I really want to get you in the now and really get to the point where you feel that you can just chill, relax, and listen in and just be here and now. So I want you to just take one massive deep breath in and just slowly just breathe out. And I want you to do that one more time. Breathe in and slowly breathe out again. Hope you're all doing that with me. Alrighty, ladies, let's get this show on the road, because I make it 7:33 by my clock. So good evening to you all on this beautiful Monday evening. This is Perimenopause, Menopause 101. Okay, so you're here tonight. This is a webinar, and I am Lynsey Vinen. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an integrative health practitioner. I'm a mum. I'm a partner to Jez. We have one crazy boxer, and I do have the door open, so he might come and show his face in the camera shortly. He just generally jumps off of my lap, so don't be surprised if he comes and shows us a visit. I'm originally from the Channel Islands. I've lived in Australia now for 23 years, so I consider myself an Aussie. I think I've lived longer here than I have in the UK now, so we love it here. We have lived all around Australia with Jez's work. So Jez works in rugby league, and yeah, that's taken us to a lot of places, hence why I took my business, I suppose, online. But some of you might already have seen or know now that I'm actually going back into clinic, and I'm going to be working alongside a chiropractor. So that is really, really exciting. She's a nurse too. She's an ex-nurse too. So we're both from a nursing background. She is a midwife, or was a midwife, turned chiropractor. And obviously I have my nursing background as well. So I was a psych nurse before I came into this holistic space. So yeah, so ladies, let's get into this. I'm really excited to give you some information. I also want you to jump out if you do have any questions. There are some little bits and pieces on Zoom where you can put your hand up, but don't worry about it. Just pop on, take yourself off mute, and you've got a question, ask it there and then, because I know with perimenopause, menopause, we forget, right? And that's okay. So I want you to be able to feel comfortable to just come off and answer it. And if you're on, your cameras are off and you are not coming on camera, that's fine too. And if you want to ask a question, you can put it in the chat. Janelle is on. So beautiful Janelle has pulled all this together for me over the last few weeks. So Janelle's my VA, and she is based in the Philippines. She's just amazing. I don't know what I'd do without her, basically. Right. So, ladies, what's happening to our bodies? Seriously, what is happening to our bodies? There's 3 stages, okay, to this perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. Alrighty, and different things are happening at different times. So in perimenopause, you notice your periods are starting to change. Okay, that is like the main sort of, I suppose, the main thing that you go, okay, yeah, I'm mostly in perimenopause. What is happening here is we get a decrease in production of progesterone, and we get a decrease in estrogen. All right, so our 2 sex hormones, they completely start to change. And this, I think, for most people is the most challenging time, because you have multiple symptoms going on, you're not sure what's going on, and a lot of people haven't even heard of the term perimenopause. They've heard of menopause and they just know that you get there and then your periods stop, and that's what most people say. But this 8 to 10 years, which it can be, leading up to menopause is super, super, super important for you to understand. So some of you here might have already been through it. You might have already gone over the other side, and you might have not even realized that you were in perimenopause. And that's, I find a lot of my clients come and they're just like, I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know that's what was happening. So, if that was you, or that you've been through that, and that's been a part of your life, then well done for getting there. And, there's still help on the other side as well. There's still lots you can do. So hang on in there. So menopause, the term menopause refers to the time after you've had that final period. Okay. So, or your menstrual cycle has ended. So ovulation finishes, and you no longer have a production of estrogen and progesterone. Alrighty. So once you recognize, you're in perimenopause, then I always say to people, start tracking your cycle so that when that last, when you had that last period. So for instance, for myself, I had a period last November. So if I go through the whole of November now and into December, then that'll be me over into menopause. I'll have done that whole perimenopause business, which started for me about 39. So it's a long time, right, that we've got to deal with this stuff going on in our bodies. And it's also a long time to not be okay. There's a lot of women out there struggling and not realizing why they don't feel well and what's going on. And the reason is, it's this perimenopause period. So, for me, I really want to get the education out there as early as I can, to catch people as early as I can, so we can educate them to say, hey, this is what's going on. It's perimenopause. Don't go to your GP and get put on antidepressants. Don't go to your GP and get put on thyroxine, because there's stuff that we can do that's natural, that we can help you. Okay. So that's what I want to do. Alrighty. And then postmenopause. So once you've gone at least 12 months to a year without a period, then they class it as postmenopausal. So symptoms cease, and fireworks explode, the sky lights up. I don't know, the king grants us a holiday, maybe, who knows. Anyway, we should celebrate that shit, really, ladies. We really should. I think we should have post-menopause parties. I'm going to start them. Anyway, so that'll be me in maybe November, December. I'm going to party when I know that I'm in postmenopausal or post-menopause. Alrighty, I'm just going to share my screen with you as well. This is stuff that I'm going to show you now, is the stuff that I'm going to give away tonight to you ladies if you stay around. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see this when it comes up. Are you seeing graceful menopause? Yes. Thanks, Jocelyn. Alrighty, I am just going to go here. Alrighty, so this season of life is not to be dreaded, but to be enjoyed. And, for some women, they go through it and it's been the most horrific experience ever for them. So as I say, I want to try and catch people really early so they don't have to go through that, and it can be a really lovely journey, and they can go into postmenopause feeling vital and energized and invigorated again. So these are some of the things that you might experience during perimenopause and menopause. So we know about the hot flashes. We know about the weight gain, the fatigue, the hair loss, low libido, dryness. Like that can be dry hair, can dry skin. And people talk about really itchy skin, bone loss. That's why it's really important to we're talking about exercise, to so walking and strength training, so important. Cholesterol. Now I had a lady today, just to on a story, going to a GP. So I walked with her this morning. She said, I've just had my bloods tested, Lyns. And I said, what came back? And she said, I've got high cholesterol. And I was like, okay. I said, what did the GP say? He wanted to just give her drugs, and he gave her no information at all on diet or exercise or whatever. I was just blown away. I was just like, holy crap. So this is, this is a problem with, with this for a lot of women. They go to the GP, they get bloods done, and then this stuff comes back. But cholesterol, when we're losing progesterone and estrogen, can actually go up because of our hormonal response, not because of what we're eating. Okay, so it's really, really common for this to happen. When I had my cholesterol checked when I was going through perimenopause, mine was up too. Had it done now, it's fine. So we've got to be really careful with that. Decreased muscle mass. Okay, so we lose muscle as we age as well, but also as we lose that progesterone and estrogen as well. So it's really important that we're doing some form of strength training or body weight exercise just to keep that muscle on. Night sweats are really common, and then obviously difficulty sleeping is just across the board for a lot of people. Like, they have some good nights, they have some really bad nights. And I put here, obviously, the good news is most of these symptoms can be made better by shifts in your diet and lifestyle, and it really can. It can really make such a difference. Okay, I'm just going to whiz through this stuff on, foods that can help reduce symptoms of menopause. Not for everyone, and sometimes things like cruciferous vegetables are not always the right thing to be eating, just purely because of the goitrogens in them. So what happens there is it affects the thyroid, has a direct effect on the thyroid, and can slow the thyroid down more if you are already, a slow metabolizer with with the hormonal response going on. So these things, soybeans are great, so also known as edamame beans. You can buy them in the freezer section. They are amazing, full of protein, so good. I eat them by the handful. Chia seeds and flax seeds are great to just chuck in your smoothies, help you go to the toilet as well. Dark berries, so any types of berries. Dark berries have got more antioxidants in them, so that's why we ask, sort of try and get you to eat more dark type fruits. Fatty wild caught fish, again, salmon's great, maybe once or twice a week, but not any more than that if you are having issues with thyroid, because again, the fat in that will drag the thyroid and slow it down even further. And then good quality protein. So we should be eating protein at each meal, ladies. Alrighty, so some of you will heard me bang on about that on my lives. I get a bit excited about that side of things. But it is so important. When I see people go from, not eating enough protein to then suddenly having what they need, what their body needs, their energy levels just bounce back straight away. But the other thing we've got the issue with is trying to digest the protein, because sometimes we're low in our hydrochloric acid, and that's usually due to our sodium potassium levels as well, which I'll show you an HTMA report towards the end. As to what happens there, and we can't then break the food down. Here's some meal ideas to help reduce your symptoms of menopause. So soy and salmon salad. So you've got sort of those beans, the soybeans there, a bit of fat, so a bit of avocado. We still need our fats. Lots of veggies. So ladies, we want to be aiming for at least 6 to 8 cups of veggies a day. Alrighty, I know that sounds a lot, and if you're not used to eating that, then just build up slowly. Alrighty, chia seed pudding, you can make that the night before. All you need to do is get some coconut milk, chuck it in with a 1/4 cup of chia seeds, and boom, you can just dress it with your berries and yogurt and stuff the next morning. Alrighty, that's such an easy take to work type of thing as well. You can put it in a jar. It lasts for a few days as well. Baked chicken and veggies, so just really easy stuff. I use the slow cooker a lot. I also use the air fryer a lot, believe it or not. I was not for an air fryer at all, but my family made me get one, and now I use it nearly every day. Anyway, eggs and greens. So obviously eggs are a complete protein. So when we're talking about complete proteins, a complete protein has all our amino acids in it, okay? And they are so important for us as our hormones change. So a complete protein would be an egg or something like lentils and rice together, okay? So those two would be a complete protein. Tofu is a complete protein as well. So yeah, I do have a handout on that, which is actually quite handy for people when we're talking about complete proteins. Salmon, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. And then we've got berry salad topped with lean protein. Alrighty, so there's a few bits and pieces there. Foods to limit. So when there's certain things that set off, things like our hot flushes or they exacerbate them. Alrighty, so particularly spicy foods, alcohol, definitely. And we all know that if you've had, even before you had perimenopause and menopause, if you drink and you just have a bad night's sleep, or you go to sleep really well, but then you wake up and you just feel not great, right? Alcohol has a massive impact on our systems when we're going through this transition. So I always say to people, if you still want to have a drink, then go for the gins, the vodkas, use coconut water, use soda water, things like that, rather than the red wines, and they're really heavy in the tannins and can really have a really bad effect on your system. Added sugars, we just want to avoid sugar as much as we can, especially if you've got gut dysbiosis going on as well, which is one of the tests that I usually test for. I do test for with all my clients to make sure that there's no bacteria and there's no candida and there's no parasites, because they will feed off your nutrients and they'll feed off sugar, carbs particularly as well, okay? And they'll just exacerbate everything. Processed carbohydrates, we want to be avoiding those as much as we can as well. Fried food, and then caffeine. I find caffeine, like, I'm a slow metabolizer and I don't metabolize coffee very well, but as long as I have coffee before 12, I'm usually fine. I just can't give coffee up, just too hard. I just love it too much. So there's some things that, you just have to go, okay, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. And I'm not going to go into supplements too much, because that is, we really need to make sure that we understand what's going on in our bodies before we start taking supplements. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a moment. Alrighty, I'm just going to run through this one as well. So this is just, again, just some tips, I suppose, and health lifestyle tips that we really need to be adopting when we're going through perimenopause and menopause. So, eating for hormone health, eating organic. And I know that's not easy. I know it's hard, but some of you will have heard me talk about the clean 15 and the dirty dozen. So when it comes to food these days, our food chain is full of, toxic chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, all that sort of stuff. Our food is sprayed, and who knows how long it's been sat in a fridge, freezer, and kept, I just don't know these days. You just don't know what you're eating. You don't know what you're getting. So, if you can eat as close as you can, grow your own veggies, or, eat close to organic as you can with your fruit and veggies, then at least you're going to be getting some nutrients in there. The clean 15 and the dirty dozen, if you do want that, that is just a handout, which has got on the most sprayed foods, as in fruits and veggies, and the cleanest ones as well, so the ones that are less sprayed. So you'll find things like in the dirty dozen, strawberries, like they are massively sprayed. So again, if you're feeding kids lots of strawberries because they love them, which we all do, they're going to be getting some form of heavy metal or some form of pesticide in them, which is going to be affecting them, okay? Because you just get a build up in your system. So just something to be aware of. Eating enough healthy fats. So we do need fats, but again, when I test for, depending on what's going on with your hormones, we run your hair tissue mineral analysis. Then a lot of time it will give us whether you're a slow one or a fast one. If you're a slow one, then we don't want to be eating lots and lots of fats, because again, it can have a direct impact on our metabolism, slowing everything right down. So, but we still need some fat. So if you're going to have fat, I'd stick to your avocados, and I stick to things like olive oil, alrighty, or coconut oil. Keeping your blood sugar balanced. So this is a big one for a lot of people. When we get the hormonal changes, we do get massive change in our blood sugars. Our pancreas changes, our liver's not working as well. So, we've really got to sort of work on those organs as well, and helping them as much as we can, supporting the liver and supporting that pancreatic output as well. Eating a protein at each meal as well. Again, to keep your energy levels up, and also, you know, brain food. We all need protein. So these are the types of things we want to be, you know, we want to be having. So 20 to 30 grams of protein with every meal, ladies. Lifestyle tips. So managing stress. Stress is the biggest killer, and it's the biggest cause of dis-ease in our systems. We're stressed, and then we're just running around trying to do all of the things when we give ourselves no time to calm that nervous system down. And so consequently, we have this raised level of cortisol like all the time. And that's not a good space to be in. Alrighty. So we need to work out what works for us and how we can manage our stress. For me, I do a lot of I don't do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of walking, and I'll go out and use that as my stress release. Exercise, so I'll go to Pilates and things like that, go for a walk on the beach, and just try and ground myself. You know, and as we do get into this transition, we have to look at the types of exercise we're doing, because sometimes some of the exercise that we're doing is causing more inflammation, which is causing obviously more cortisol to be released, which again is not a great position to be in, because it's just causing more problems in the system. Okay, so managing your stress, really, really important. Going non-toxic, so just trying to find as much as you can, looking at what you use day to day, deodorants, you know, creams, how you have your hair colored, and you know, pick your toxicity. So I still have my hair colored. I get my nails painted. So those are my like toxicities. The rest of the stuff I use is pretty low tox. And all the stuff, all my cleaning stuff at home is all low tox too. Clean up your cookware. So a lot of people don't realize when we test them and we look at their heavy metals, they're like, where the heck did that come from? Like, where's the aluminium coming from? So it can come from your cookware. So it's really important, if you're using old stuff, you get rid of it and replace it, because it can cause, it's loaded, as it says here, with xenoestrogens, okay, which can mimic the chemicals of estrogen in the body. So really important to have a look at that as well. And getting a good night's sleep obviously is so important. Yeah, avoiding your phones before you go to bed. Obviously this type of thing that I'm now, I've got lights on everywhere and the screens. Like tonight, most people won't be a great night's sleep for me, because I'm getting all these, you know, these blue rays. And really important that you get morning light exposure, which it says here. Reason being, when you go out between the early hours of say 5 and 10 a.m., that initial light is really important for melatonin production and release. So if you're not getting out in the mornings and getting that initial sunlight, then that can have that knock-on effect on your sleep later on as well. And then here we've got optimizing detox. Okay, so eating enough fiber, staying hydrated. Like this for a lot of people is, you know, a struggle to drink a lot of water each day. So what I tend to do in, you know, in trying to help people to do that is, you know, give people ideas of things you can put in your water so it tastes a bit better and just doesn't taste like water, or drinking lots of herbal teas and things like that. So, you know, cutting down on the caffeine or the caffeinated drinks, and adding in, you know, different types of water, adding in herbal teas, adding in kombuchas, things like that. And it make it a little bit more interesting. I actually made an iced lemon tea yesterday, and have that in the fridge now. So that actually is, you know, something different to have. I made it on green tea, and just with lemons, and then add it. It's like a, you know, you can just add soda water to it. So you put a bit of that in a glass and then add the soda water to it and then squeeze a lemon in it. Really great. Sweat it out. Sweating helps you remove toxins. Yes, it does. And lightens the load on your liver. So, you know, if you're not exercising, then find something you enjoy and just get moving. Just get moving. My non-negotiable for all my clients is 10,000 steps a day, making sure that you're getting out there and building up to that 10,000 steps. Alrighty. Dry brushing, really, really important. So if you think about your blood's always moving. It's always pushing everything out into the tissue. And then what we need to do with the dry brushing is we need to move that lymph. The lymph does not move. Alrighty, so if you're not massaging yourself and you're not dry brushing, then it's just sitting there. Okay, and so it's really important that we get that lymphatic system moving, so it stops it from being sluggish and stuff getting stuck there. Alrighty, so that's a little bit of info there for you. I'm just going to take this off of stop share. And I'm going to introduce two lovely ladies who have been clients of mine. And these ladies have volunteered their time tonight to come and speak to you guys. So it stops me from having to carry on talking to you and just breaks it up a little bit. So I'm going to introduce Julie Davidson first. So Julie, I've known Julie for actually quite a long time. And Julie and I met quite a while back now in another business, believe it or not. And so Julie's been working in the corporate arena, but she's always been really into health and wellness. And she's now a certified health coach, which is really awesome. And she's on a mission, like myself, to motivate and inspire women to show up for themselves and have more confidence. And Julie wants to see all women all over the world happier and live a life of health and well-being through regular exercise and great nutrition. She's also passionate about supporting women navigating the perimenopause journey, and we've had lots of chats about this. So Jules came to me, and she was actually really embarrassed at the time. She said, Lyns, I'm really embarrassed that I'm coming to you for advice. And I was like, why? And she's like, because I feel like I should know this stuff. So I'm going to let Julie tell you her story, and we can just go from there. Welcome, Jules.
Hello, Lyns. Thank you for having me. And hi, ladies. Hope you're having a good night. Yeah, I was so embarrassed. Like I'm a certified personal trainer, certified health coach, and I've been doing everything health for 20, 25 years. And it was probably 6-7 months ago where I just was like, what is this perimenopause about? What is it? This is ridiculous. This is not even real. Like it's just dumb. Like it's just the weirdest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. I just recently turned 50 as well. And it was really hard for me because I've trained clients for years. I've coached clients for years. But this stage of my life, I had no idea what the hell was going on. And I reached out to Lynsey and said to her, I said, what is all this about? Because this is not fun. And honestly, I never really thought about it. Like I'm still getting a period. Go figure. There's a story behind why I just got a period of 28 days, like a full proper cycle. Like what the hell is this about? Just didn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, this is something that I just have never thought about. Still getting a period, but they said, oh, but you're going through perimenopause. Like, how can you go through perimenopause? What is perimenopause? So anyway, caught up with Lyns, and we had a consultation with her, and she explained to me what was happening. And my mind was blown because I just didn't understand that the symptoms that I was having was all to do with perimenopause. Like I wasn't sleeping. I had anxiety. I just was like the weight gain. That's been the biggest thing. Being a bit of a fitness freak my whole life, that was really challenging for me. That was just like, this is not okay. And there has to be a reason why. And when I spoke to Lynn, she explained to me exactly what was going on. And after we did some testing, so I went and did the hair test because I was like, right, give me everything. Tell me everything. Let's fix this. Let's get over it. This is not okay. Let's just do it. And she sent me for the test, and I had it. And when it come back, never did in my life did I think that this had anything to do with being a female. No idea. And she guided me on where I'm at and how to progress through it and to kind of get some normality back in my life, which I have. So happy to know after 6-7 months doing different things. I've changed my diet. I've introduced weight training, which I was doing anyway, but just different forms of it. And I can't tell you the difference. Like, I can now sleep most nights. I can, except leading up to my period, I can sleep 8 hours straight. Like, I wasn't doing that. So my brain fog has gone. The memory loss, 100% still there. That doesn't make any sense to me. But it's just, as you can tell, like, my brain's thinking, it's like, what am I going to say? But everything has really settled down considerably. And I didn't think that that was even possible. Like, I'm only really in the beginning. Like, I am going to get tested again for my hormone levels, because I've been 6-7 months, and I have done some supplements with Lynsey, but that was only after we did a thorough consultation and I really understood my body. So I did another one, I think it was 3 months after. So I did one 3 months later, and the changes were incredible. They weren't huge. Like, I'm like life-changing. Okay, I'm fixed now. I'm done. I'm through menopause. We're done. Let's get on with it. That's just my personality, as you can tell. And it was just really eye-opening. And just when you said, Lynsey, before about the toxic, like, some of the things I had, where am I getting these metals? Where am I getting everything? It wasn't until even a couple of weeks ago when I rang her and I said, I just checked my deodorant. What the hell? And because that's going literally into your skin. So just little things like that, didn't even think about. Yes, I can do all the things. I can kick your butt if you want to come and see me. I can tell you what to eat. I can do all that. But when it comes to this, man, it is just like, it's like a puzzle with that piece that you're never going to find. It's just crazy. So I'm in a much better space now and just feel so much better. The weight gain, I think that's going to come. The weight loss, I think that's just a bit of a journey until my hormones kind of just, figure themselves out. But it's just been so good to start to feel a little bit normality, just with simple changes of diet and exercise. So I'm really grateful. So thank you. Hopefully that's kind of shared a little bit about me, and hopefully that can help some other ladies as well.
Thanks, Jules. I really appreciate that. And you're just starting that journey, right? Mm-hmm. So at 50, you're just going into you're in the perimenopause phase. So it's that, ups and downs, and you're just like, whoa, what's going on here? So, for you, it's a case of, like you say, just riding it out, and waiting for your body to just balance itself out. But yeah, you're doing a great job.
It will. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, I'm going to introduce another beautiful lady, Jo Denning. So Jo is also from the UK, like myself, and she's the owner of Sacred Souls Holistic Healing. And she understands the importance of body, mind, and spirit working together in harmony. She's also a mum of 2 grown-up children, and in the midst of perimenopause, she became very disheartened with the allopathic model of treating women suffering in this phase of their life. And that suffering, I do feel that there's women out there just suffering. It's awful. So a few years later, she found the AO scan technology, and working with the results from the bioresonance frequencies, she found that there were many things out of balance in her body, but she actually didn't know what to do with them. So she did reach out to me, and I'll let you, Jo, take it away.
I better unmute myself. Hey, I'm sat here going, yeah. And then I went, oh, I'm on mute. Whoops. Okay. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story and maybe help other people that are in a similar situation to what I went through. So thankfully, I'm on the other side of the periods now, but going back to in my 40s, I made notes, by the way, so I wouldn't forget. Class student of the year. So going into my 40s, my periods started to change. Not only did my periods change, but so did my attitude. So it was a killer. Like I would just blow up out of nowhere. Anxiety, crying, memory loss, like you name it, absolutely everything was going on. But my periods were pretty consistent around that time. It was only slightly hit and miss, but the other symptoms that went with it were just horrendous. So because I was hit and miss periods, and doctors are hopeless, so don't even get me started on the allopathic model, because I'm not even going to go there. But I had to Google what was going on, basically. And I found out that there's such a thing as perimenopause. Wow, who knew? So yeah, I went, okay, I'm obviously in perimenopause then. So now what do I do? Well, there's not a lot of information out there to tell you what to do, or I couldn't find a lot of information back then. So I went to the doctors, had ultrasounds done, found out I'd got fibroids, but they didn't want to do anything about the fibroids. But of course, that makes you irregular and things. So I downloaded, Lynsey was talking about tracking your periods. I downloaded a really good free app called Clue, and I put my periods into that every month. And that was empowering, because I was able to take that back to the GPs with me. I was also able to monitor my own periods. I knew that if I got 12 months free, I'd be in menopause. So I'd get to 6 months and then get another. I'd get to 9 months and then get another. I once got to 11 months and then got another. And each time you've got to reset straight back to zero. And it was so infuriating. So yeah, it just restarted over and over again. Anyway, eventually 12 months passed. And it stopped. Yay. Not so yay. That's why I'm typing in the chat. It's not that good, ladies. So 2 years clear, and I fell into the AO scan, bioresonance frequency medicine, part of what I do as my work now. And I started using the scan to check what was going on inside my body, and I was following what was going on and making slight adjustments, but there were still things showing up on there. And I put 12 kilos on in 10 months. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? No change in my diet. I'm not the world's best eater, but I'm also not the world's worst eater. I do like a bit of chocolate. I like my coffee, but not enough to put 12 kilos on in 10 months. So I went to my doctor and I went, I don't know what's going on. I put 12 kilos on in 10 months. And she went, that's normal. You'll be fine. So I was like, okay, well, obviously no help there. The other symptoms were kind of subsiding. So the memory loss wasn't as bad. The wanting to kill my husband was actually calming down. Thankfully, he's still alive. So all those other things were settling. The fight, flight, freeze, anxiety, that was passing. So I was able to live my life quite normally. And the doctor just said she did a blood test, and obviously we all know what their parameters are on blood tests, especially Lynsey. And she said, you need to take iron. So I was like, okay, I'll take iron. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit tired and whatever else. So I started on the iron tablets, never felt any better. And then obviously following Lynsey and getting to know Lynsey, because we're both crazy poms, following her story and following what was going on, I was like, I think we need to talk. I think it's time. And for months, Lynsey was going, you need a test, you need a test. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Anyway, eventually I bit the bullet and I had the HTMA test, and my iron levels were just crazy off the charts. I don't know whether you remember, Lynsey, but they were crazy off the charts. And I'm like, she said, do you take iron? Yeah, take iron. The doctor told me I need to take iron. My ferritin levels are low. So I need iron. And she went, honey, look at your copper. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what copper does. So apparently copper helps to transport iron around your body. I had no copper. So the GPs didn't pick up on that. So anyway, long story short, the HTMA brought up a few things. Lynsey recommended some supplements for me, and I started on the supplements, immediately started to feel much better. The night sweats weren't as bad. I've always slept quite well anyway. And I don't mind the night sweats in the middle of winter because I'm a little bit of a cold bear. So I'm like, these night sweats are cool. I don't need an electric blanket. So yeah, I started on the supplements, and eventually I've lost 3 kilos so far, which is good, and not much change in my diet, just getting those minerals and things balanced. And yeah, I'm just seeing if I've missed anything. So yeah, still taking the supplements, still liaising with Lynsey and chitty-chatting about things. Lynsey's amazing. You can always go back to her and say, hey, what's this? And drive her nuts like I do. I just gave you permission to do that, by the way. And yeah, I'm still a work in progress, obviously, as we all are, because I work with energy. We're all energy and frequency. We all constantly ebb and flow. So everything's changing all the time. So it's not a quick fix. It's something that you do keep to need to revisit. And you may feel intuitively that some days you don't need to take a particular supplement, and that's okay. So listen to your bodies too, because we can over supplement too. But yeah, everything's much better and getting on track. And hopefully next time you see me, I'll be 10 kilos lighter. And that's me.
Thanks so much, Jo. That was
You're welcome.
Yeah, it is, and like you say, it's a work in progress. I've actually just sent my 3rd test away for this year, this week, because again, you're just always trying to balance. It's like a balancing act all the time. So ladies, the girls have both talked about the HTMA, so I want to introduce you to the HTMA, the hair tissue mineral analysis. It's a test that not many people know about. It's non-intrusive. It's a health screening test. If doctors used it, it would be amazing, because they would find out so much stuff. You know, and the reason it's different to, you know, a blood test is because we're not testing blood. We're testing what's going on in the tissue. So we're testing what's going on. So the blood's always trying to keep equilibrium in the body. So if there's anything that comes into the system, it will try and remove it within 72 hours and get it out, and it will push it out to the tissues. So when we're talking about tissues, we're talking about your brain, we're talking about your heart, your lungs, your liver, all of your organs. So this is where dis-ease starts, right? So if stuff is sitting in there for too long, then that's where we get the breakdown, and that's where we have, you know, this disease happening. So it's a balancing of the body's chemistry. So I'm going to pull up my HTMA from the beginning of the year. Where did I put it? Here it is. So I'm just going to share my screen with you again, and I'm just going to quickly run through this with you, and then we'll be finished, ladies. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. Let's just close that down. All right, you should all see this Interclinical Laboratories with my name on it. Nobody else's, thank God. You know how sometimes you pull stuff up and you're just like, oof. Hopefully it's not somebody else's. Alrighty, so this was from January. Alrighty, so last October, November, we had moved house. We moved from Canberra back to Queensland, and so you can see my metabolic type here is a slow 1. So my what happens there with a slow 1 is I've got, you know, issues with my digestion. I'm not breaking down food properly, so I'm not absorbing it. And we can see that here with the sodium and potassium. Okay, so we need sodium and potassium to make HCl, so hydrochloric acid, and that enables us to break the food down. So if that's low, if those 2 electrolytes that we need, you know, day to day for everything to run, for your heart to pump, are low, which you can see mine is, potassium was 1 and sodium is 4. They're really, really low. So I wasn't making hydrochloric acid, so I wasn't breaking my food down. I was getting reflux, and, you know, quite uncomfortable and tired, like no energy. You can also see my calcium. So the reference interval that we're looking at wants to be in this white box here, and you can see the numbers here, 22 to 104. My calcium was at 60. Okay, so my calcium was not too bad, but my magnesium was too high. We need these to be balanced. So what happens is people tend to take supplements like magnesium and zinc and vitamin C because we're told to, or Dr. Google says, you know, when you've got a cold, you should take those. But then what happens, people stay on them. And then what happens is they put their ratios out of balance. And this is what tends to happen with supplementation across the board, because people don't really know what their body actually needs, okay, until you test. So you can see what we're looking at. We're looking at 17 of the major minerals that your body needs day to day. So we're looking at calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. They are our electrolytes, okay, so they keep everything functioning. Then you've got copper and zinc. We've got phosphorus. So look how low my phosphorus is. So phosphorus is like your vitality mineral. Like we need phosphorus for so many functions in the body, and mine was barely, you know, I'm at 10, so we need between 10 and 21, and yeah, I'm very low on that. My iron was low too, so again, you can see my energy levels were pretty in my boots. Manganese was low too, chromium and selenium, boron. I had no vitamin B12, so cobalt, which is, you know, not good. And then you can see my liver was struggling a little bit as well with sulfur and molybdenum. So this chart in itself, you know, shows us a lot. This chart over to the right here, toxic elements, you can see I've got a bit of mercury, a bit of aluminium, a bit of cadmium, a bit of arsenic, and a bit of uranium. You might know, where the heck are we getting all those from? We're getting those toxic elements in our food chain. We're getting them from cooking and those pans that we're using. We're getting them from what we're putting on our body. So it's really important when I do a you know, review with you, that we look at this and we go, well, where are you picking those things up? Where are they coming from? Like Jules said before, hers was coming from a deodorant. You need to look at those ingredients, or just go to the health food shop and make sure you're buying natural, organic, you know, self-care things that you're going to put on your body. Otherwise your skin, which is your biggest organ, will absorb it all. And makeup's one of the biggest that has a lot of these things in it. So look at where you're buying your makeup and what you're putting on your skin, and skincare as well. And then we've got additional elements as well, which we look at. Again, I had a lady today and her tin was really elevated. So we had to go on a bit of a, you know, a journey to sort of, I find myself like going, oh, a bit of a detective work, like where do we go? Where's it from? You know, where are you going? You won't be picking that tin up from. So, you know, that's something that we look into in a big way as well. Now, these significant ratios, I'm sort of whizzing through these for you ladies, but just to give you an idea of what this test does. You can see here, this is my calcium over phosphorus. So that's like my vitality ratio. That wants to be at 2.6. So mine was quite elevated. So I have 6 calcium ions to 1 phosphorus. So I need to bring that calcium down somehow. And then my sodium potassium was 4, wants to be at 2.4. So again, I've got elevated sodium over potassium. This is my thyroid ratio. So calcium over potassium. So 60. So you can see everything was very slow. And if you think about the amount of calcium, calcium is a very sedative mineral, puts a very blanket effect over the body, slowing everything right down. So when we're talking about slow metabolizer and a fast metabolizer, slow metabolizer have got this, you know, elevated calcium. And the calcium is not elevated because you're having too much calcium. The calcium gets stored in the body and is not available to be released. Okay, because of the other mineral profiles that are out of balance. So we just get this high calcium here, which again, mine was 60. And that's changed now. That's come right back down. My zinc to copper was fine. This boy here, sodium magnesium, is our adrenal ratio. So look at my adrenals. They were absolutely fried at the time. So again, that's back up now. And, you know, as soon as these ratios are balanced out again, you can feel it in your body. And I know people come back to me and they say, I feel like I've just got energy again and I feel great. But it's not until we look at what's going on in the body at a deeper level, more than just your blood, and look at what's going on with your minerals, because this is what makes your body function. Without these, we can't function. So we need to put these minerals back in again. And when we do, we feel really good. But it's a slow process. We need to make sure that the gut function is good first as well. And then my calcium to magnesium was mostly okay, spot on. And then iron to copper was, again, a bit low as well. my toxic ratios at the time were interfering with a lot of my mineral profile. And then it goes on. I'll just quickly whiz down here and show you. It talks about the types of food that you should avoid, for sort of a 3-month period. So here we've got general dietary guidelines for the slow metabolizer, and then it gives you actual foods that you should avoid. Okay, so it's quite specific, and it's quite specific to the person as well, depending on your profile. So again, look, I needed more potassium in my diet, so we put that back in with food, not just supplements. Okay, so it's really, really important that we're working with good food and nutrition, not just, piling you full of supplements. Some people do need more supplements than others, depending on what's going on. But again, if I was working with you and we're working on, supplement therapy, it wouldn't be more than 12 weeks that we would have you on the supplement therapy for, and it's like a layered therapy approach. Alrighty. So that gives you a little bit of an insight to what that looks like and how it works. And if you haven't had one and you're curious and you'd like to have know a little bit more about it or have a chat with me, then you know where I am. So I just want to finish off and say, for those of you who are in any of those stages in your journey, to hang on in there, because it is a natural process and there are things that we can do. As you can see, with the Graceful Menopause Guide and the other one that I showed you, lifestyle is massive, exercise is huge, and getting your nutrition right as well it plays a massive part in impacting, your hormones and your hormone health, and looking after yourself, self-care as well. So for those of you on here tonight, I'd love to gift you the guides that I showed you before, but also I'm going to get Janelle to send you, there's a 4-week recipe guide, and there's the full recipes that go with it as well. So you're going to get all of that in a bundle. I'll get Janelle to send it to you. I think because it's quite a big file, it might just have to go Google Docs. So if you've got Google, then that will all just come through to you, and we'll send it through to those emails that you've sent us. And I'd just like to ask, is there any questions? I'm just going to check the chat because we've been talking. You ladies have been chatting on here. The best thing I ever did in years. Yep, so Monica's just put, how I'm going to do this test. Yeah, it's a hair test. Monica, if you just connect with me, and I will talk you through that and help you out. And if there's anyone got any questions they want to ask or come off or say anything? Sam? Hey, how are you? Gorgeous.
Well, thank you. Hey, girls. So just potentially, so if we just went through that guide, got our sleep right, worked with the food and things like that, before even doing that analysis, would you say, okay, well, if we're looking at doing that testing in the next month or so, do you think that doing that, trying to sleep and eat and drink water beforehand would be a good idea? Or just do that shit show now and you can see a bigger difference?
Yeah, it doesn't really, you can do the test at any time. You can, if you want to do the work first and then come and get tested, that's absolutely fine. But the quicker you do it, obviously, the easier we can, the more likely we are to be able to sort things out a lot quicker, because we can see what's going on in your profile. Otherwise, it's just a bit of guesswork as to, what's going on. You can definitely change up your diet. That does help a lot. Especially with sleep, avoiding alcohol, avoiding caffeine, all of the things that we love, and especially coming into the Christmas period, it's not the easiest time. But yeah, you get that, you can do it either way, Sam. It really doesn't, I don't think, make any difference.
That probably is a big thing, I would automatically think, okay, well, I'll just do it in the new year, but to do that testing now and then just start on those things that you're sending out tonight. In the meantime, we're waiting for that test to come back and then that analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then, when your results do come back and we see what's going on in your profile, that's when we put that wellness plan together. and, you know, work out what's going to work for you, and add those new foods back in that you need. Because you can see when I, you know, on my profile, I desperately needed potassium and sodium, and obviously B12, like straight away.
So with that balance, does that mean that the weight loss does happen quite organically?
Yeah.
Because I've got 50 kilos to lose, which is obviously massive inflammation throughout my body.
Yeah.
If I ate a table full of sugar and shit, then I'd be fine to say, yeah, get rid of it. But I don't.
No.
You know, like I do only have one coffee potentially a day. Probably don't drink my water. Definitely don't go to bed at the right time.
Yeah.
So, you know, so there obviously is things there, but, you know, meat and veg and meat and salad is basically what we eat. We eat quite well. Everyone else in the household looks fine except for the mother. So, you know, there's I think that major stress hormone level is the issue. So, so 50 kilos, what would if following your program, what sort of weight loss would I expect, or how long would that take?
Yeah, good question. Everyone's different in terms of how they respond, I suppose. But for someone like yourself with, you know, you don't want to go fast with that weight loss either, because we want to make sure that the body is, you know, balanced before you start going and losing the weight. But definitely, you know, like you say, 50 kgs. I mean, if your body's balanced, the body will let go of the weight. Okay, so the other thing we need to check is that there's nothing causing, you know, the weight to continue to go on, which can be, you know, the bacteria, the candidas and things like that going on in the gut as well, where the body's not actually absorbing the food, it's not absorbing the nutrients, so you're not actually getting what it needs either. So
what other testing would you recommend with that? So there's obviously a HTMA.
So the HTMA is the hair tissue mineral analysis, which is simply a hair test. So you take a sample of hair, and then I would do gut microbiome. And I would maybe throw in cortisol for you, Sam, as well, just to see what's going on with your sleep-wake cycle as well, because obviously, there's an issue there as well. Yeah, with that stress response. Yeah. And then we go through, you know, your lifestyle, like what that looks like, you know, how stressed you are, your sleep cycle, your diet. And that's where that integrative approach comes in. We're looking at everything, not just looking at weight loss.
Yeah, beautiful. But I would like that faster rather than fuck the slow. Let's just get that shit off. Yeah. So, yeah. I want a fast forward button. Thank you. And then I'll sort all that out as it goes.
I wish I could do that for you. But I can't. But I can. People do I had a lady who she was actually going to come on tonight, but she couldn't make it, Tanya, and she lost 15 kilos she did the cleanse, she did the full thing, we did the testing, we cleared some of the bacteria, and once we got that, and she's diabetic as well, once we got things balanced, the weight just started to drop off, and she's continued to lose weight. I actually haven't spoken to her for a while, so I don't know how much she's down to now, but that was within the 3 months that she worked with me, she dropped the 15. So
fabulous.
Just pretty happy with that. Yeah,
that's what we like to hear.
Yeah. Any other questions, ladies, before we sign off on this?
Quick question.
Hi.
Nice to meet you guys.
You too.
Lynsey. I was just inquiring. So I don't really know where I'm at.
Yep.
But I'm 49, so I'll be somewhere, I think. You know, and obviously been thinking about it a lot. I've so 6 years ago, I had a marina put in due to that I had uterine cancer, and I didn't, but and then I just have had that taken out.
Yeah.
So how long would you wait for the body to get find its balance before you do the hormone testing and stuff?
I don't think you need to wait. I think the quicker you get onto it and the quicker you test, then you can get onto whatever's going on in there pretty quickly. So, you know, with the marina, that is a copper coil. So again, we've got the issue with copper there, which again causes estrogen to rise. and yeah, can play a bit of a part in, you know, what's going on in there as well. So yeah, I just say to people, you get yourself tested now, because otherwise all we're doing is guessing all the time. And
yeah, no, because it's like a week, so I already feel better.
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I'd made that decision.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. But obviously, you know that I'll probably need a lot of balancing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a case of once you know and you can see what's going on, which you saw, you know, with mine there.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. I wanted to pull my others up as well, but I just obviously I've just had the third one done. This is for this year. I want to show you the progress, but I couldn't get them, so they were side by side. I was just like, I'll just show you one for now. It gets a bit overwhelming otherwise.
But it was really good knowing that you even go out of the back, and this is what you do for a living.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Which
absolutely.
is awesome. And I love that you shared that, because that, you know, just goes to show that it is not, you know, a quick fix.
No,
it is the ebb and flows, which yeah, like Joe.
Yeah.
Do you still live in England, Joe?
No, Joe's here.
No, I'm here. I drive her nuts.
She's just up the road.
She's so lucky.
Yeah, because I do sound and energy healing, and
nice.
Yeah, so I understand, you know, how every moment can change.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, everything that's going on at the moment. But yeah, so thank you for that, because yeah, I just really want to find out, what's going on, which I guess everybody does, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when I was going through initially and hadn't I didn't really know about the hair tissue mineral analysis, you know, back then. And my functional doctor ran mine for me, and I was blown away by it. I was just like, wow, this is so cool. So yeah, it is one of those tests now that it's a bit of a non-negotiable that I use it for everyone. And that combined with your, you know, gut microbiome gives us a really good overall picture of what's going on with your gut health, with your bowels, and then your nutrients, which your mineral profile, which is so important, because without these minerals we just don't function well, especially when they're out of ratio. So yeah. So
thank you.
You're welcome, and reach out if you would like to just have a chat, Nicola.
Yeah, one more question. Do you do younger women as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because I had a really bad time since she was 12.
Yeah,
and she went through the GP pumping her full of hormones. And yeah, it's been a horrible journey for her. So I think it would be amazing, because she's really sluggish energy as well. So even though she's young, she's all out of whack due to everything that's gone on with her. Yeah. And so she's got really high anxiety and depression as well, which doesn't help.
That will show up in here as well.
Yeah, so, well, that's it, but it's so cyclic. You know,
hormones, and
everything as well. So yeah.
Yeah, we can test babies as soon as they've got hair, right up into, you know, old age. Like it's one of those tests that can be run from everyone, and so non-invasive. It's very easy.
Whether you looked at all people, or if you just did, you know, this age range of people, you know, going through perimenopause and everything. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously this is my niche and my area, and I you know, that's where I work, but I've got clients who I've tested their kids for them, and yeah, that sort of helps them as well, because, you know, there's some stuff going on, and then you realize that, you know, these kids are struggling, and it's because they're, you know, they've got all sorts going on. So that's been really helpful for people. So yes, I can do that as well, but I obviously don't advertise that. So yeah, I want to help you guys first.
Yeah, no, but it is really, I know hormones and women are your priority, and yeah, but I just wasn't sure where you went. Okay,
absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions, ladies, before we let you go to bed? Because oh my goodness, it's 8:42 here. It's late for you guys down in Melbourne and other places. All good? No one else jumping out? Okay, cool. Alrighty, well, ladies, I'm going to sign off here, and we'll get those PDFs sent out to you. Janelle will send everything out over the next couple of days. And you know where I am if you want to reach out, either DM me in Messenger if you want some help. Obviously moving into the Christmas period, you know, and going into the new year, you know, I know some people I've been talking to have been feeling like this all year. So, you know, now's the time to jump on it and get into 2024 and feel, you know, fit and fabulous again. Because it's not right to feel crap day in, day out. And you don't have to if we can, you know, get you sorted. So it just takes a little bit of time and effort. That's all. And you just got to be ready as well. Ready to do a bit of work on yourself. All right, ladies, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have an amazing evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're all here tonight. See you later. Bye.